I just can't help but have the feeling that so much of what is going on is it is such a diversion from the bigger issues that will impact markets at some point in time. The bigger issues are really very different than what we are seeing, because the real issue is politics. It's political, both abroad and here, through the G7 and through the G20. The focus is not going to shift from where it is today to the G7 or to the G20 or to currency or to the IMF or the OECD or any of those organizations as it should. It's not going to turn there until it's bright and sunny news coming out of these organizations. But right now, the wrangling that is going on in the positioning of the globalists is a little scary. And I'm watching it closely, but nobody, I don't want to say nobody's watching it, nobody seems to care in the mainstream media side of things. So it is a huge political issue, and it is a dramatic political swing for America, for the things that America has fought against when it comes to the G7 and the globalists is now quickly becoming, America is now quickly becoming an ally to the globalists as far as the globalist agenda. America is almost starting to, and it will be soon, being perceived as a ally to all things that the very far left progressive globalists want to see accomplished. Things that are going to be like a universal, that's really not the proper word, but the universal tax, the globalist tax on companies, U.S. companies and non-U.S. companies alike. They are now talking about a 21% tax. Janet Yellen, remember, I talked about it at great length and with great concern. Janet Yellen mentioning this 2 or 3 weeks ago, came out and talked about this global tax, and she was talking about 15%. And I said, I don't think so. I think that's a talking point to get involved in the conversation, but it's not going to be 15%. It's going to be something higher than that. Now, coming out of the G7, they're talking about a 21% tax. So exactly what is a free market, free economy, capitalist society like America? What are the American companies to do? They are facing higher corporate taxes, the multinationals, higher corporate taxes, and now they're going to be facing an international or a universal tax on everything that they do. I mean, we're talking about 55 to 60% in taxes. How much profit? So you have companies, multinational companies, very large multinational companies that work on very thin margins. And I am telling you, as sure as I'm sitting here, that there is going to be a country, my bet is going to be Ireland, though they will get punished severely by the Eurozone in some way, shape, or form, monetarily. But I think it's going to be a country like Ireland that is going to step up to the plate and say, no, we're not buying it. Ireland has the best corporate tax of 12.5% in the world. And we have back in the 2010 era, there was a lot of mostly pharmaceutical companies, but an awful lot of companies that moved to Ireland. And why not? I would have, and particularly if I was a company that was working on low margins, that wouldn't be pharmaceuticals, by the way, a company that was working on low margins, I'd have to go to Ireland in a heartbeat for 12.5% income tax. That's going to take my low margin company to a very good margin company. So a country, this is an opportunity for Eastern Europe, for Poland and others to really step it up and do something that can change their country for the better dramatically. And that's what's going to happen. And maybe if that happens, and hope it does, that somebody drifts away, then it's going to force countries like America, Germany, Italy, France. It's going to force countries to sit back and say, well, unfortunately, this is going to have to be for another day. Another day. So we'll see what happens, but I'm watching it very closely. It should be bigger news than it is. Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.